Today we're going to be talking about the unique economics and the financial side of running a lead generation agency, and I also will be covering different metrics and how they impact the business. The first thing that I want to mention, this Google Sheet is just a simulation. It's really easy to make $1 million business on Google Sheets, but then actually executing and doing it in the real world is 10 times harder. It never is like a streamlined process. That's not how business works. There's gonna be ups and there's gonna be downs. There's gonna be months where you fucking lose money and you fuck up and you lose 10 G's, and then some months you make way more money and you are in a good flow and you get a sick big deal. And that's how it works and that's how it should be. So I do not want you to take this whole sheet at face value. So here we have a simulation version 2. I have mapped out what it would look like to run a lead generation agency for 13 months based on different averages and different metrics. So first I want to go through the metrics with you. So the first metric that we have here is unique contacts. And basically what I mean with unique contacts is how many unique companies you are reaching out to. So let's say you send 5,000 emails. That doesn't mean that you have reached out to 5,000 companies. It might mean that you have reached out to 1,000 companies and followed up with each one of them 4 times. On average, I'd say it's 30% unique companies in the campaigns and the rest of them are follow-up. So we know how much sending volume we need to hit specific goals and averages. And the main thing here with the unique contacts is that is one of the biggest things that impact your growth of the business. The more we have here on the top row, the more we are gonna have here on the bottom row. So we have unique contacts, and then the bottom row here is bank account, how much money we are gonna have in our bank account. So let's say we double this number and we make it 6,000 unique contacts, and we make that happen across the board. Boom. As you can see, the number of money in our bank account is gonna increase, because the more unique contacts we have, the more demo calls we're gonna have. And more demo calls we are gonna have, the more deals we are gonna close. And the more deals we close, the more clients we close, and blah, 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 blah. So if you are not making enough money, you just might have too low of a top row number. Your unique contacts isn't enough. This doesn't take into consideration churn. It doesn't take into consideration failed client projects. It doesn't take into consideration that at some point you just can't onboard more clients. The best way we teach our own clients to run their agencies is that they first get to like 5 to 10 clients. They get a few really solid case studies. They dial in the niche a bit more, going from broad to more specific. They get better case studies. They increase their prices. They make a better offer. They start adding more things into their offers so they can charge more and work with less clients and produce bigger transformations. So the ultimate end goal isn't to work with 35 companies to make 50k. The end goal is to work with 5 companies and make 50k a month, because you just provide so much value and make so much money for them. Then we have sent emails. So again, if we had 3,000 unique contacts, we need to follow up with them. So this is the total amount of sent emails. Then we have conversion. How many unique contacts do we get into a demo call? On the first month of running the agency, we might have a 0.1% booking rate because we are just figuring out the campaigns. The second month, it might be 0.3% booking rate because we are finding out what's working better. And then month after that, we might have 0.5%. And then month after that, we might again have 0.3% and 0.1%. Again, it fluctuates. So that's what the conversion is for. Then we have demo. So if we contact 3,000 companies and book calls with 0.1% of companies, we're going to have 3 demo calls. And if out of those 3 demo calls, we close at 10% closing rate, that would mean that we would have 0 clients. But the first month, because sales cycles and you're just getting used to the offer, you might have 10% closing rate. We have the opening fee, starting fee, so basically how much we are charging to start working with someone. Then we have the sales, how much we make in sales that month. We have booked calls per client on average, so how many calls on average are we booking per client. Price per meeting, so how much are we charging per meeting booked or call booked. Then we have our monthly recurring revenue, so how much is coming in every month just through performance fees. Then we have total sales that month, so the performance fee plus the starting fees that we have closed, and then that's like the revenue generation side of the business. Then we also have operating costs. So do we have assistants? And basically with assistants I mean all employees. They can be virtual assistants, in-person assistants, so VAs, inbox managers, lead scrapers, tech analysts, data analysts, domain setup guys, sales guys, operational managers. It can be fucking anything. How much are we paying per assistant? So what are our payroll costs? We have project leaders. So if we have, for example, 10 clients, like it's just better to have one project leader and pay them 3-4k a month and let them handle it and let them manage all the VAs and communicate with the clients maybe. It's gonna make our life easier. Then we are gonna have our software costs. How much do we need to spend on software and tools, lead scraping, all of that stuff. Then we will have our total cost cost of operating, and then the turnover. So how much money we make after the expenses get reduced from the total number of sales. Of course, you don't want to take all the money out that the business makes. So the business might make 14.7k, but of course you don't want to pay yourself 14.7k, because then how are you going to grow the company and how are you going to keep the company running? And then we also have a number, how much money did we make after payroll? What is our profit margins and how much money do we have in our bank account after that month? Let's say that we would have a simulated situation that month 1 we reach out to 3,000 companies, we send in total 9,000 emails, we have a 0.1% booking rate because we don't really know what we're doing yet. We get 3 demos, we close at 10% closing rate, and we close 0 clients. The next month we do the same shit again, but our emails work a bit better, so we book at 0.3% closing rate, we book 9 demos, we close at 20% closing rate, we are getting a bit better at sales. Maybe we get some clients closing from the past month because of the sales cycles. Let's say that this month we are still charging 3k, we would make 6k in sales, and then for both of those clients we book 10 meetings. That would mean that we make 12k in total, 6k in performance, 6k in starting fees. And again, this doesn't take into consideration the onboarding period and ramp up times and domain warm-ups and all of that stuff, but like let's say that everything was this streamlined. And the next month we send a bit more emails, we send 4,000 emails, and let's say that we book at 0.3% booking rate, we have a 20% closing rate, we close a few clients, we have an open fee of 7.4k, make 17.7k in straight up sales, we book those clients 10 meetings on average for $300. That would mean that we would make 31,000 that month. And then let's say that we make 31,000 in revenue and we have 2 inbox managers, and let's say that we have brought in a project leader and we spent 3,000 on software. That would mean that we would spend 11,000 euros into operations. We would make 20,000 euros after those operations. Then we would pay ourselves 6,000 euros. So we would be left with 14,000 euros with a 45% margin. So this would be like a fairly average month for a lead generation agency, what it would look like. Let's bump this down a bit more. So let's say that on average we are booking our clients 5 meetings a month, which is like super fucking low. I think 7.5k is a really good starting fee. That's what we have charged a lot, but let's say that we bump the starting fee to 5k. So then like after 5 months of running the agency, what we would be dealing with here is we would have 16k in the bank account. We would be making around 4.9k profit after every month, and we would be paying ourselves around 2,000 euros. So you see that the unit economics do not really work with these numbers. So we would either have to cut down on the assistants, maybe pay them less, maybe we would have to get rid of the project manager fully to bump up the profit margins, to pay ourselves a bit more. Maybe we would have a little bit cheaper operators into our team. So let's say that we would only be paying them 1k. I do not really recommend that you save on team expenses. That's like usually the last place where you should be saving. But let's say that we need to do a little bit squeeze there, and then yeah, it starts looking a bit better. We can pay ourselves a bit more. We would be having around 47% profit margins, and we would have like 30k sitting in our bank account. And if we would be continuing with these metrics, we would see how the cash stacks up and how the profit margin stacks up, and also how we are able to pay ourselves more the more we run it. Obviously, these are fairly shit numbers, booking 5 calls for a client and only charging 5k starting fees in the long run doesn't really make sense in my eyes. But yeah, so we could create 15 different simulations with this sheet and see like, okay, how to run a really good agency, a really bad agency, etc, etc, etc. So I'm not gonna bore you with like 15 different variables, but I just wanted to show you this sheet so you understand a bit what it looks like on the financial side to operate a lead generation agency. Obviously, these are like super shit numbers. Let's say that we would be booking around 8 calls per client and we would be charging, let's say 5k, and we would be reaching out to 4,000 companies after the first few months. I think that's a fairly good number to run on. And then let's say that we keep it at 5,000 employees. Let's say that we don't hire a project leader before the month 10. So this is what the financials would then look like. So the first month we would lose a bit money because we're still practicing and everything isn't going as smooth, and we wouldn't be paying us, like we would actually lose 600 euros on that on our own payroll. But then when the ball starts picking up, you start seeing that we can pay ourselves more and more. And also the money on our bank account starts stacking up a bit more. If we just kept these numbers and didn't splurge on anything else, and these would be the averages that we would be doing, booking 8 calls per client, reaching out to 4,000 companies, 0.3% booking rate, 20% closing rate, 5k starting fees, and this would be our team expenses and software expenses. We would hit the 100k in the bank account on month 9, which isn't actually super unreal. But yeah, again, you need to remember that it doesn't work like that. It doesn't go in a straight line up. It actually goes ups and downs and fucking sideways. Things go wrong all the time. So you can never expect same growth to happen in the real life that you can find in a Google Sheet. I always recommend that you don't really try to scale the agency by just stacking more clients at the same price. I recommend that you actually get really fucking good at that niche, providing this one transformation, stack up on case studies, start charging like 10, 15, 20k prices, retainers, rev shares on top of it, and work with few really high quality clients for a long time and grow with them instead of like just trying to stack 20 clients to make 40,000 euros. It doesn't really make sense because you can do that with 4 clients if you just get really good. But first, in the trenches, you need to put some time and money so you're able to get in that situation. So this is what it would look like when you're just stacking clients. 3k starting fees in the beginning, raising them up to 5k after the first 2 campaigns, 8 calls on average per client. You're able to make money with good margins, pay yourself well, and life can look really, really amazing. But yeah, I hope this gave clarity. If you're looking to grow a lead generation agency yourself and you're interested in that, or maybe you're already growing one, I recommend that you go check agentsvelocity.io. We have a bunch of cool resources there. We have a 2-hour long video, a bit of free training there. We have a bunch of case studies, so go check those, see how we have done it for other people, and then if you want help with growing your own lead generation agency, book a call with us and let's see if we can work together. But yeah, hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Hope this was valuable piece of information for you. Remember, business isn't done in Google Sheets, it's actually done in the fucking trenches. Thank you, it has been a pleasure.